Welcome to the Top Step. Great episode this week. The Mariners are finally getting started with their playoff run. What's it going to take for them to have a deep run? What's it going to take for them to get to that 5-game series? We're going to break that down. Plus, Aaron Goldsmith joins me to talk about all his iconic calls. Did he mess any of them up? Does he rehearse what he's going to say before some of the big milestone ones? I'm going to ask him all that and plenty more coming up in this week's episode. Let's get started. Welcome to the Top Step presented by Warrior Injury Law. Injured contact attorney Rob Edens at 253-WARRIOR. Battle tested. How's it going, mates? Welcome back to the Top Step. The Mariners have finally arrived here in October and ready to make a deep run. We're going to get into all that. Was the layoff maybe just a little bit too long? Is it going to take them a while to get on their feet? We're going to break it all down. Before we do though, make sure you go over to @TheTopStepTV over at YouTube. You can catch all your favorite Mariners, past and present, from Andres Munoz, Logan Gilbert, Bryce Miller. The list goes on and on and on. All of them, all the episodes, some epic chats over at YouTube, plus all my breakdowns, all the stories, all the laughs, how to speak Australian, and everything. Go to YouTube and subscribe if you have not already. Plus, social media at the Top Step TV. Give us a follow so you can keep up with everything that's going on. We're going to try and keep this show going all off season long, and you can listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts. All right, we have got a special time of year. It's been a couple of years since the Mariners have made a deep run into the playoffs. What's it going to take? Let's break it all down on this week's edition of Eyes on the M's, brought to you by King LASIK. Hey, mates, if you're over worrying about contacts or glasses, do what I did. Go to King LASIK. The procedure takes 15 minutes. You'll be out of there. It's pain-free. It's super easy. Go to www.kinglasik.com. Get a free Zoom consultation, and I'm telling you, it will change your life. All right, so we've got a very special edition of the show. The Mariners are in the playoffs, first time since 2022, and they had the bye round too. How about that? That may be a little bit of a concern. I'm going to talk to Aaron Goldsmith about that. The layoff. Momentum is a big thing. I still believe in it. I know some people don't. I still believe in momentum, and we've seen that the last couple of years with some of these teams who have that bye round, even the ones they've gone through. The Dodgers last year, the Yankees last year, two classic examples. The Dodgers last year nearly got beat by the Padres because they got off to that shaky start. They were able to figure it out. Big thanks to Walker Buehler, out of all people. The Yankees, the same thing. Aaron Judge didn't get going to Game 3. So they were off to a shaky start as well. Why? Because they had this layoff. Now, I know that the Mariners are combating that by doing doing all the stuff at the field. We're going to get into that with Aaron Goldsmith. But what do they need to do to have a deep run? How's this team built to especially for a 5-game series? So first of all, on the offense, these are the big keys. Number one, you got to score in the first 3 innings. All right. Now, again, if it's a 0-0 game, I get it. But this team, when they score in the first 3 innings, man, they are so lethal for a couple of reasons. Number one, yes, it's good to score early. Kind of gets that monkey off your back a little bit. But number two, when you are a pitcher facing this lineup and you have to go into Seattle, and you're looking 1 through 9. Man, it can be a gauntlet. You can look at that. It can be overwhelming. That's what this lineup is. One of the best in baseball. When you look at that and you can shut them out for those first 4 or 5 innings, it takes all that away. It takes that out of your mind. And all of a sudden, especially if you're in the bullpen, you can get that feeling like you can shut down this lineup. So they've got to score early. And by the way, too, when they had that really rough road trip, I'm telling you, man, they scored half a run in the first 3 innings of all their games when they were in that really tough stretch. Right before they got onto that craziness that when they swept that road trip against the Cardinals and the Angels. But the difference was they scored early. When you go back to that Astros series, what do? They scored in the first 3 innings every single game, and makes such a difference. That's number one. How are they going to score? Got to be with a home run, right? I don't want to sit here and go, oh, yeah, it's just do or die, boom or bust offense. But it kind of is. In the playoffs, home runs reign king, man. If you can get that 3-run bomb, that is going to reign king. Yes, you can put up 5 hits and string them together. Maybe. It's pretty tough when you're facing some of this good pitching, right? You run into an ace on a staff, it is very, very difficult to run up a walk, hit, walk. You have to hit the long ball. This team has scored 51% of their runs on the long ball during the regular season. That has to come into play. So there's so many weapons in there. Someone has to get hot and be a huge threat with the long ball. I don't know who it's going to be, but who's going to hit that 3-run bomb, that will be the difference. On the pitching side, look, the starting pitching, Dan has shown towards the end of the year that he can actually pull the pin on some of these starting pitchers early. That bullpen is going to be key. And I'm talking, if you get to a place where you got a lead, I'm going Bizzardo even multiple innings, believe it or not. I'm going Bizzardo. If you get the starter taken out early, right, before we even get to the 7th inning, I'll get there in a minute, I would say I would take a Bizzardo over anyone else, and I'd take him for multiple innings. When he comes back for that 2nd inning, he is really good. Not to mention he can back it up the very next day. I also would take Gabe Spire. I don't care about the lefty-righty pockets. I'm taking him. Do you remember that at-bat against Christian Walker? I'm putting Gabe Spire in my 7th or my 8th inning. Now, Munoz, look, I know he was shaky that last game he pitched in the season. Look, he's going to be okay, but Matt Brash has got to figure out what the plan is. Fastball, breaking ball, and get those pitches in the strike zone for that 8th inning. You don't want him wobbly in that 8th inning. That bullpen, though, that's going to be a big key. If they can get, I honestly would go Gabe Spire, righties or lefties, and I'd go Matt Brash in the 8th. That's been his role. He's been good. I know he's been a little wonky, but man, if he can get off to a the first 5 or 6 pitches and land that breaking ball, he's going to be okay. Munoz in the 9th, of course. Now, back to the offense. One last thing. I'm going to talk to Goldsmith about this. Should we be stealing this many bases? Should we be that aggressive? I think there's times for it. I just don't want a situation where Dan Wilson's getting antsy on the bases, and then all of a sudden he runs into an out, and then you look back and that is so magnified. However, this team wreaks havoc on the bases, man. You've got to pick your spots. I think the base running is going to be crucial. A couple reasons. Number one, extra base. Yep, that's one. But more importantly, I said this for the long ball, it just creates so much frustration when you're trying to get that dude at the plate out. So that's going to be huge as well. They're my factors. I'm going to talk to Aaron Goldsmith, see what he's got to say. Because we talk about this all season. We've talked about this the last couple of months. What do they need to do? It's one thing to get to the playoffs. We've seen that. How do you have a deep run? Let me know what you think. What do the Mariners need? What are some of the elements they need to have a deep run? You can let me know in the comments on YouTube or on social media if you're watching along on Root Sports. All right. So when we come back, we're going to do the Cal Raleigh home run tracker, revisit number 60. Insane. What an insane night when they clinched the ALDS. And we're going to welcome my broadcast partner, Aaron Goldsmith. Don't go anywhere.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ann, who broke her leg in a trip and fall accident.
I had broken my femur and I was in horrific pain. We chose Warrior because they had a good reputation. I wasn't just a name, I was a person, and that makes a big difference. I'm just grateful that we had the settlement for my care. I'm very pleased.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
See life better with perfect, clear, natural vision from King LASIK.
Being a former professional athlete, I still love staying active. From paddleboarding, snowboarding, even playing with the kids, everything was such a hassle dealing with glasses and contacts. I'm so grateful to Dr. King and King LASIK. It's amazing how much better I see life.
I'm Dr. Joseph King. Let's free your eyes from the hassle of glasses and dirty contacts.
Schedule your free consult at kinglasik.com. King LASIK. See life better.
Welcome back to the Top Step. It is time for the Cal Raleigh Home Run Tracker, brought to you by Bob Oates Plumbing and Sewer. Big Dumper approved. Bob Oates is here for you. We've got to go back and revisit number 59 and then 60, the night the Mariners clinched the AL West division. What an epic moment that was. First of all, 59 was great. Matter of fact, me and Goldsmith were caught on camera. I was kind of sitting there looking kind of chilled, relaxed, because I'm trying to be pro, get dialed in to have that big spiel on over the replay, laying out there, letting the game breathe. But then later on that game, crowds on their feet, the team's already in a position to clinch the ALS. Just a special night all around. Cal comes up, 40,000 plus chanting MVP. And what does he do? Hit it into the night sky, into right field for number 60. Absolutely epic moment. The video of the booth, Goldsmith and myself, went viral. I didn't know what to do. I was just kind of in shock. I was blown away by so many different things. The season Cal Raleigh's had, the fact he just hit 60 home runs, AL West, the whole thing. It was just overwhelming for me, but it was just an epic moment. We are going to talk to Aaron Goldsmith coming up in just a moment to talk about that call. But that was the Cal Raleigh home run tracker brought to you by Bob Oates, Plumbing and Sewer. Big Dumper approved. Bob Oates is here for you. By the way, the Big Dumper beer was in the clubhouse when they clinched. It was in the coolers. I could see. I was like, oh, there's a Big Dumper beer from Scuttlebutt Brewery. If you haven't tried it out yet, go to a Scuttlebutt location or any retail that sells the Big Dumper beer, brought to you by Scuttlebutt Brewery. All right, and to talk about all those Cal Raleigh home runs, he has been the soundtrack for pretty much all of them. Aaron Goldsmith, the TV voice of the Seattle Mariners. Goldie, how are we doing?
Hyphen, very well. How about yourself? Good to be with you.
I'm doing very well. I do want to talk about all those home runs, but before we get into that, you were on the first episode of the Top Step for the 2025 season. Do you remember some of the keys for this team to have a nice 162 to get to the playoffs? Do you remember any of those? I know it was 6 months ago.
Are these keys that I said?
Yeah, you had. I'll let you know. You had Julio. Had to be, that energy of this team, which I still agree with. Absolutely. There was that because that was coming off 2024. The pitching, that was pretty bumpy, right? If we're recapping. I'm trying to think if there was one other key to
Did I say that Cal has to hit 60 home runs?
Yes, you did. You basically said, look, if he doesn't hit at least 50, all these rumors, this upcoming extension, because I think it came out around the time of the extension, is just a complete waste of money. That's basically what you said. So,
well, I mean, Julio, when it's all said and done, Julio will have another, I don't know what it'll be. It's certainly a top 10 MVP finish probably for Julio. And Cal at worst will be runner up. But I think this year, the pitching obviously never became exactly what you thought it would be, and we all know kind of the various reasons why. But it is amazing when somebody hits 60 home runs, what that can do for the rest of your ball club. I think we've seen that firsthand.
Sure. Absolutely. Now, listen, you have been, like I said, the voice behind majority of them. As the season went on, the names attached to these home runs, these milestones, just got more and more ridiculous. At what point in this season were you thinking to yourself, man, not that you want to screw them up, but everything that you say over these home runs is going to be the soundtrack of some of the most iconic home runs, not just in Mariners history, but for Major League Baseball history, especially as catchers are concerned for the 2025 season. At what point did you feel that, I'm not going to say pressure, but that extra little bit of importance to every time you call one of these home runs?
I remember coming to the ballpark in late May. And at that point, we were already starting to look at the record books, more niche stuff. Nobody necessarily thought he'd hit 60 at that point, although I'm sure he was on track for that. But it was more, you remember, Cal Raleigh has the most home runs for either a Mariner or a player, period, through the end of May, through the end of June, right? Remember that kind of like that tracker we were doing?
Yep.
And I remember going to the ballpark one day and seeing our producer, Curtis Wilson, who's one of the best producers in baseball, has been producing Mariners television since the Kingdom days. And I pulled him aside and I said, hey man, are we doing this right? Are we nailing this? Because I could start to kind of feel it that early in the season that this was becoming something. This was becoming a freight train to history. And from a, as you put it, from a Mariners perspective or broader from a baseball history perspective, you just really want to get it right. And you want to get the calls right. You want to get the camera shots right. You want to get the total production of it right. You want to nail it, because I think even people watching right now, if you can take yourself back to just the early months of the season, even then, everybody involved, from your viewers to Mariner fans to us in the booth, we knew that we were potentially seeing something that we might never see again. And now I definitely feel that way. I could broadcast for another 30 years and never call another 60 home run hitter. And the best way I can put that is our great friend Rick Riz, the voice of the Mariners. He's been broadcasting baseball for over 40 years. This is the first time he's ever seen it on his team. So this is truly a kind of a once in a lifetime thing. And there is a good amount of pressure to it. But it's what you thrive. Well, hopefully you thrive in it. But it's what you get into this business for, right? Just like I'm sure you can relate to when you became a professional, you wanted to have the ball in those big moments, and when you're a broadcaster, you want to be behind the mic in those big moments. So it's been an absolute thrill, and it's been the best thrill of my career. I can say that without any hesitation, to watch this season for the Mariners, and more specifically, the accomplishments of Cal Raleigh.
Welcome back to the Top Step. This segment is brought to you by Olympic Hot Tub. We've got our Envoy Saltwater Spa hot tub hooked up here at the house. Oh man, it is a game changer. The kids, Amanda, we all love it. It's awesome. Kids have got assigned seats. Can you believe it? We've got Bluetooth speakers, all the light settings, everything about this thing, the jets, everything is unbelievable. It makes you feel, live, and be better. Go to olympichottub.com or go talk to one of their staff in person, one of their 8 locations. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. This team is about to take on the American League Division Series. They were there against the Houston Astros in 2022. They're skipping the wild card. You and I have talked about this as the season was finishing up. The thing that concerns me is, and I've talked to some coaches about this who have dealt with it, is the layoff. Is having those days where you're doing inner squads, and the fact they've got the big board, the scoreboard up, walkout songs, letting fans in, inner squad, trying to get game intensity. How do you get beyond this layoff? Because I'm concerned about it, Goldie. I'm not going to lie. It concerns me. It just does.
I understand both sides of this argument. I understand why someone would be concerned about the layoff. I also understand why somebody would be concerned about playing a best of a 3-game series. Think about this for an example. 3-game series to end the first half of the season. The Mariners went to Detroit after a pretty gut-wrenching series, to say the least, at Yankee Stadium. Remember, Brian Wu had a no-hitter late in that game, and then the Yankees ended up winning that game in a walk-off. Mariners get into Detroit in the wee hours of the night against a team that at that point had the best record in baseball. Yeah. And what happened? Mariners swept them.
Right.
So the point is, anything can happen in a 3-game series. And if you lose that first game of the wild card round, your back is up against it. You lose one more game and it's over.
Yeah.
You go back 2 years ago, the Rays won 99 games in the regular season. And they got swept at home in 2 games in the wild card round by the Texas Rangers. So I'm not saying this to you specifically, Hyphen, but go ask the Rays that year, do you want to have the first round bye?
Absolutely. Oh, no, right? Hey, look, I'm all for the bye. I just talking to Bobby Magianis and Kevin Seitzer, who with the Braves, they did it 2 years in a row. And Magianis like, look, we learned a lot from that, because the Braves, one of those years, went into Philadelphia and just got steamrolled, because no matter how, all the anticipation, you're fired up and everything. It's not like you're rolling in on your heels. You're fired up about it. But, man, it's just that you haven't been around each other. You haven't been in each other's back pockets. You're not out on the road with each other. You are separated a little bit, right? And I'm hoping too, and people might think this is crazy, but at some point, even in those 5 or 6 days, whatever it is, in between the last game of the season to this first round, maybe do something away from the field as a group too. I know that might sound cringy or cheesy, but like just having some of that in each other's back pockets kind of feel, you know what I mean? Because I worry if it's just like, come and getting some work in, inner squads, doesn't mean anything, but you got the music cranking, everything else. It's all warm and fuzzies, but then boom, it hits you hard going into that ALDS.
Yes, I understand all that. I do. I would still rather have the bye than not have it. When the Mariners lost in the divisional round in 2022 to the Astros, and they were swept in 3 games, guess who had the bye? The Astros.
Yeah.
Right? The Mariners were coming off a thrilling series, as we all know, in Toronto, and then they lost 3 straight. So the amount of the sample size that we're dealing with here for history in this new wild card format is just a handful of years.
Yeah.
And there have been multiple World Series teams who have had the bye. So I understand why people are nervous about it, why you, in this case, are nervous about it. And yes, that's absolutely a possibility. But I'll also say, like, anything can happen in the playoffs. And the example that you cited talking to Magianis about, it's like, yeah, the Phillies are a really good team. And maybe they just would have lost to the Phillies, right?
Yeah.
How many real upsets are there in October? Like, how many times are you like, oh man, nobody saw that coming? Like, they're both playoff teams. So I get it. I think this is what they would rather have. It's what I would, whatever that's worth. It's what I would rather have, which means it means nothing. But they will need to come up with something. And as you pointed out, I think it is very beneficial to the organization that they have two guys in Seitzer and Magianis who have lived through this, who have seen 100%. Some ways to combat it, right? And then I just think ahead to Game 1 of the American League Division Series coming up and what that ballpark's going to be like. I mean, it is going to be absolutely unhinged inside T-Mobile Park. And any type of feeling like you're lethargic or under-caffeinated from 5 days off, man, I have to imagine the bell's going to ring pretty fast for those guys. It's going to be incredible.
All right, so what is the key here? What are the keys to have a deep run in the playoffs for this team? For the way they're built, you know, they live and die off that home run ball, right? But they do some other things really well. What are your big factors? How do they have a deep run to get to the World Series and ultimately, you know, that getting to that ultimate goal?
I'll give you how about three pillars here for the Mariners in the postseason. I think in the postseason, more than any time else, you have got to double down on your identity. Double down on who you are and what got you there. So for me, looking at the Mariners, not just this year, but historically, yes, offensively, they walk and they hit home runs. Walk and hit home runs. Outslug the other team. We know that in October, it comes down to that so often. That's one. Two, dominate the zone. Throw strikes, attack, be aggressive on the mound. You will have the advantage from a starting pitching standpoint most nights, especially in a deeper series, right? A 5 and potentially, hopefully the Mariners get to a 7-gamer. You will have that advantage. You have that mindset. And this has been an organizational bedrock philosophy for years at this point. So double down on dominating the strike zone. And then defensively, channel Perry Hill. Make the plays in the box. Catch the ball, throw the ball. You don't have to make the highlights, but if it's hit to you, make it clean. Ask the Yankees what it's like when you don't play clean defense late in the postseason. It stung them.
Right.
The Mariners are not a flashy defensive team. By and large, Julio obviously can make some incredible plays. But what the Mariners have excelled at in recent years is when the ball is hit to somebody, they catch it and they throw it. And they throw it on target. So double down on those three philosophies that have got it here.
See life better with perfect, clear, natural vision from King LASIK.
Being a former professional athlete, I still love staying active. From paddleboarding, snowboarding, even playing with the kids, everything was such a hassle dealing with glasses and contacts. I'm so grateful to Dr. King and King LASIK. It's amazing how much better I see life.
I'm Dr. Joseph King. Let's free your eyes from the hassle of glasses and dirty contacts.
Schedule your free consult at kinglasik.com. King LASIK. See life better.
What do you do when your drain's full of goo? Your toilet won't flush and you need to go poo. Leaky pipes flooding, yikes, don't be blue. Bob Oates is here for you.
Hey guys, Cal Raleigh here. Don't let your plumbing turn into a comedy of errors. Next time, call Bob Oates, Seattle's trusted plumber.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ed, who suffered a neck injury in a highway pileup.
Had a bulge disc in my neck. It was pinching my spinal cord, so reached out to Rob. It was amazing. Their whole team were honest and kept me informed, like they were actually interested in helping me, not just a number. I'm very pleased with the outcome. I would definitely choose these guys any time of the week.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
Welcome back to the Top Step. We've got time for one more segment of the Top Step before we get into the ALDS. It's brought to you by Core Contractors. Look, we just got all the details down, all the sketches ready for a major remodel. Levi and his team, seriously, they take all the stress out. So excited to share the progress photos of the Hyphen's house, getting a major facelift, much needed. Core Contractors, the center of remodeling and restoration. Now listen, before I let you go, we do have to do the How to Speak Australian, brought to you by the Kangaroo and Kiwi. We're all business on this episode, but we do have to mess around a little bit. All right, it's not called this anymore, but when you and I were growing up, when I was a kid, I remember this clear as day. It was the Winfield Cup. If you win the grand final in this certain sport, you win the Winfield Cup. And by the way, this is how lowbrow this gets. I don't want to give this away for the sport. Winfield was cigarettes. So it was the Winfield Cup. That's what it was basically. Winnie Blues is what they call Winfield cigarettes. So anyway, oh yeah, but it was always the Winnie Cup, mate. The Winfield Cup. That's how it was. Now, what sport am I referring to? If you win the World Series equivalent, is it cricket? Is it rugby or Aussie rules football? What do you got?
Aussie rules football.
No, it is not Aussie rules football, Goldie. It's rugby league, the greatest game of all. They used to have, Goldie, back when I was a kid, Tina Turner, of all people, she was like this icon in Australia. And you know how like these celebrities go to like, Asia and they do these commercials and they're a huge deal on these
like
other... Well, yeah, like me, yeah. No, I played with Ichiro for a couple of years, so I'm a big deal in Japan. No, but Tina Turner would come to Australia literally like annually, and she'd sing "You're Simply the Best" for the grand final every year, and people would go nuts. Of all people, it was insane, man. So it's for the Winfield Cup. I remember it vividly. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's for rugby league, the NRL, Winfield Cup.
Okay,
there you go.
We've worked together so long now. I've always wondered why the lock screen on your phone is Tina Turner.
Yeah.
And now I thank you. I never had the courage to ask. I just thought it was a little odd, but hey, Tina's great, so why not? Yeah. Makes sense now.
She's an icon for all Australians. Put it that way. All right, Golly, this has been fun, mate. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the ALDS. We can catch you on the radio side. Is that right?
Absolutely. I'll be with Rick and Gary on radio on Seattle Sports, the Mariners flagship station, for the entire postseason. I can't wait.
I love it. Well, listen, Golly, it has been such a pleasure, and I'm so grateful to have a chance to work with you all year in 2025. Looking forward to doing it again in 2026. But let's go Mariners. Let's have a deep run.
Oh, man, it's been great. Thank you so much, Hyphen.